Hello and welcome to another episode of the Never a Straight Answer podcast, the podcast that aims to cover a wide range of topics from conspiracy theories to popular culture and news. I'm your host Gaz, and joining me in the studio to prognosticate on some prognostications is my co-host, he's Mr. Taylor.
Whoa, there are some nice words, thank you.
I know, I had to get my tongue twisted out. I was surprised I got that right.
Yeah, good evening, ladies and gentlemen.
Well, welcome back. Welcome new listeners and repeat offenders, and thank you for joining us for another episode.
Ooh, yeah.
I knew you'd be back. I saw it in a vision.
Yeah, we predicted it.
Well, we've got an exciting episode coming up today, and it's an annual episode that we usually do. It's we're going to look at the into the future.
Oh, yes.
Nostradamus, he made many predictions, as we all very well know. And here at the
did.
Never a Straight Answer podcast, we'd like to take an annual look to see what the old chap had to say about what's coming up in the coming year.
Yeah, hopefully some good news.
So we're going to delve into some of the prophecies and predictions for 2022, and also have a look back and see if he got anything right in 2021.
Oh, yeah.
So far.
Let's see.
That's all coming up very shortly in the show, as well as what's fucked up where you're from and the NASA news. So well worth sticking around for, I'm sure you'll agree.
Yeah.
Exciting times.
Okay, yeah.
Well,
it is.
If you've not gathered from the title of the episode, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
it's like we've got some excellent prophecies coming up.
We are.
Wow, before we get into all that, what have you been up to this week, Mr. Taylor?
Me, a lot of writing.
He's been writing my memoirs.
I haven't done so much writing since I've been
I'm going to down my socks, going to wash the car, and then I'm going to get round to chapter 1 of this novel.
Oh,
go on.
Yeah.
So what have you been up to? What have you been writing? You've been gone back. It's back to school.
It is. It's back to school with me.
September comes. It's all the kids back to school.
That's it.
Here he goes.
Courses I've got to do. And
so you're on a course?
Yeah.
So what's this course? What's the course about, man?
It's just it's
something. Just is it work related stuff?
Yeah.
Oh, awesome.
I just want change a little direction and.
Nothing wrong with that. Yeah. Nothing wrong with doing a bit of kind of career change. If you feel the need and you feel like you want to change in direction, retraining. Yeah. Never get too old to do it.
Yeah.
Don't put it off.
The time.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I didn't. I mean, I did for a long time. I put going back to school and doing something I wanted to do off for a long time.
Yeah.
And I'm glad I did it. Do you know what I mean? It was tough, tough doing, but worth doing in the end. So
yeah,
you know what I mean.
If
it's something you want to do, I definitely recommend you go back.
Yeah,
and do a bit of study.
Yeah. You need to get up that ladder as fast as possible these days.
Well, it's not all about the ladder. Sometimes it's about just personal achievement and doing something that you want to do and kind of honing a talent or making.
There's a lot of talent out there that's not being used.
Just getting yourself to that next level, if you like. It's not always about grabbing a career opportunity or whatever, but it doesn't hurt.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
Oh, well, that's so true.
Talk about we've got a bit of an announcement coming up in the next couple of days. I think probably midweek we'll give you a shout on to that. That's something I've been working on this week.
Yes.
And you'll hear more about that. A bit of a team up partnership coming your way.
Yes, looking forward.
Quite exciting.
Yeah.
Also, last couple of days, I think the voting closes around about the 30th of September for the Paranormality magazine podcast award. As we've let you know, we've been nominated for a podcast award with them.
Yes.
Them.
There.
So if you wouldn't mind taking a moment to vote. We've been nominated for the best UFO podcast, so that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Really appreciate that.
Looking forward to seeing where we're end up.
Yeah, hopefully win this one.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens. You can go to the link in the description, the Paranormality magazine link, and just vote for us there. Take two shakes of a lamb's tail.
Yeah. Nothing is like going to the toilet and coming back.
You could do it on the toilet.
Hey,
if you're chilling on, when you take your phone to the loo.
Yeah, and you 15 minutes.
You don't really do much. I take my phone up and then I'll sit there and I don't do anything that I wouldn't normally do, or I'm just checking my emails again.
Yeah.
Yeah. So take that moment to to vote for us on that.
Yeah, we don't mind if you do it in that kind of time.
If you want to do it in the nud, do it in the nud.
Yeah.
Listen to us in the nud. Listen to. No, you already do. We know. Well, anyway. What's fucked up where you're from this week?
Yeah.
It's really cool, right? This story, Well, first story is obviously we were sent in to us by Unsolved VA. which comes out of Virginia, USA.
Nice.
And they sent us. Right. So I'm not sure if there's two hosts to this podcast.
Yeah.
And one of them's from Washington and one of them's from Virginia, but they're based out of Virginia. But they've sent us two stories, and one of them's out of Washington. And I was thinking, unless they've moved around and that's where they were from and that's where they live now, potentially. Didn't really elaborate on it. But the first story they said was basically just sent me two links. One of them for the Richmond vampire.
Oh, right.
Yeah, or also locally known as the Hollywood vampire. It's pretty recent urban legend, and local residents claim that a mausoleum of W.W. Poole, dated 1913 in Hollywood Cemetery, holds the remains of a vampire.
Right. Well, there must have been stories before.
Well, apparently, Poole was run out of England in the 1800s for being a vampire and ended up in the United States, and that's where he was entombed eventually.
Right, and the stories persisted from then, just...
Well, yeah, and it's got some Masonic elements to the architecture as well as Egyptian.
Oh, right, okay, interesting.
And like it's sort of, the W's are like fangs. Because obviously it's in Virginia as well. Do you know, it's kind of got a bit of a story there behind it. But I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah, that's mint, that.
But also, they sent me this story about the Bunny Men of Clifton, Washington.
The Bunny Men?
The Bunny Man, or the Bunny Men. Yeah, right. So, apparently there's this bridge it's Colchester Road in Fairfax County, right? Okay. And this... Basically, it's a bit of a dodgy bridge that people say that you shouldn't really hang around there. Yeah. Right? Shouldn't linger around. There's railroad tracks there, and according to folklore, that it's a really dangerous location to be, right? Especially if you're hanging around on Halloween, right?
Right, okay.
Because you could be butchered by the Bunny Man.
Right, so he's a bit of a horror around there then.
Well, this is how the story goes, right? So in 1904, there was an asylum not too far from the bridge in Clifton.
There's always an asylum involved, isn't there?
Residents didn't like the idea of mental patients near their homes, so they got it shut down. They basically said they petitioned and said, no, we're not having it. We don't want an asylum near us. We want our family safe and all the rest of it. So they got it shut down, and the patients were taken by bus to another nearby prison.
Okay.
Right? On the way, the bus swerved and crashed. Right? They say that they were able to locate all of the inmates apart from one. Right?
Right, okay.
So there's obviously an escaped mental patient.
Oh, yeah.
Apparently his name was Douglas Griffin. Yeah. And he never got found. Right? So obviously weeks passed, and people started finding mutilated rabbit corpses in the woods. Yeah. Okay, so Douglas was apparently surviving by eating these bunnies. Right.
Okay.
So this went on for a while, and but when they were being found, they were strung up. Right.
Right. Well, sort of like a warning sign, maybe.
Well, kind of, maybe. Who knows? But like
ritual kind of thing.
Or maybe just like for preparation while he was just, like he was mental. Wow, yeah. He was an escaped mental patient, wasn't
he? That's true.
Well, one Halloween night, a group of children were hanging around near the bridge, and they were reported some sort of bright light or orb.
Okay.
And then in a flash, they were strung up like the bunnies.
Whoa, okay.
Gutted and hanging from the bridge.
Whoa.
So, obviously, the missing mental patient was obviously the killer. And the rumour goes, if you go there on Halloween night, around midnight, you'll end up like those kids and those bunnies. So, obviously,
I won't hang around
cool.
there.
That's really cool. I mean, it's a mad story.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a couple of other things that I found out about, like the Virginia, especially. There's obviously quite a lot of paranormal activity there in history. But yeah, I think that's. I'll save them for another day.
Yes.
What was it? There was one interesting one that I did find. That was a guy. He was called Zubulon Miller. Yeah, in Lynchburg. He basically, they say you can't take your money with you.
Yeah.
Right. Well, this guy made a point to prove that wrong. right? Because
Whoa.
he ordered a concrete mausoleum to be built, 3-foot thick walls, and then he hired a Swiss guy, to ensure that there was 2.3 million in gold and silver coins installed into the tomb, right?
Okay, yeah.
He also, like, left £1 million in a trust fund to keep the upkeep of the mausoleum,
right,
with armed guards to the tomb so nobody could rob it. So, you know what I mean? Yeah, you can take your money with you as well, to be honest.
Well, yeah, only until the money runs out and
nobody wants
no one wants to
and
guard it anymore.
The guards turn on it then, don't they? They go, well, as soon as the money runs out, they just rob the place.
I know there's money there. I'm gonna take it, right? Bring
Exactly. There you go.
Then he'd be left there on his own.
Well, there you go. That's what's fucked up where you're from this week. Thank you to the Unsolved VA podcast for getting involved and sending us their story about what's fucked up in their town.
Yeah, and there's some fucked up kids think, nah.
Yeah, the bunny man. That's all. That is amazing. That you can see that's going to be a movie at some point.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
The Bunny Man.
It would make a good horror movie.
Echo in the Bunny Man with some good soundtrack.
Yeah, could be. Yeah.
Well, if you want to get involved and send us your story about whatever's going on in your town, it could be paranormal, or cryptid, or monsters, whatever's going on. So you might live in Hawkins. Yeah, like that type of stuff. You know what I mean? Like in Stranger Things. Yeah, there's always something going on. If you live in a town like that, get involved, send us an email at neverstraightanswer@gmail.com.
Yeah, there's weird shit everywhere.
I'm sat next to some. Hey, well.
You don't want to talk about Jay like that.
Like I say, this week we're going to be talking prophecies and predictions.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh,
now, the main guy when it comes to prophecies and predictions is Nostradamus.
Yeah, number one, isn't it?
A.K.A. Michael D. Nostradamus.
That's the one.
Yeah, and depending on your source, it's between the 14th. He was born between the 14th and the 21st of December, 1503. Yeah. He was a French astrologer, sort of. Was he a physician as well? Like, but he was.
He had a couple of jobs, didn't he? Until his family got killed, didn't he? And then he went a bit crazy, and then these visions come to him, and then he obviously wrote them quatrains.
He was best known for his book La Prophéties, which was a collection of 942 poetic quatrains, allegedly predicting the future events. The book was first published in 1555. Some of his best known prophecies were the French Revolution, the Great Fire of London, the death of Princess Diana, Hurricane Katrina, and the atomic bomb.
Yes, and what made him stand in first was Henry II. He did a quatrain, and it basically said that Harry was going to get a spear basically through his eye, and it did actually turn out to be how he predicted it.
Well, he was best known as the Prophet of Gloom, apparently, because a lot of his prophecies were related to death and destruction. The guy kind of he left a legacy behind. I mean, there's a lot. Firstly, you've got to look at kind of what he left behind. I mean, he left these poems, didn't he, really? Like, this book of poetry, which were, how would you say it? It's sort of kind of, you've got to interpret that in a lot of ways. Now, a lot of kind of what he does say, I mean, it's hard to be pinpoint accurate, but I mean, I'm assuming people who've studied Nostradamus' work, I mean, in detail, would be able to prove me wrong and say, nah, this refers to this refers to that. To me, when I look at it, I find it not difficult, but there is a bit of a kind of a barrier. Obviously, first off, I don't speak French.
Old French.
Actually. Or old French. So it's kind of like I don't really kind of. So you got to trust that when you find these prophecies, that these are what the genuine, prophecies are, and not just somebody going, he could have said this.
Well, to be honest, one of the prophecies that I looked at years actually turned out, which made me even more strongly believe in what he was saying, and that was actually the 9/11. incident.
Actually, that's true. Actually, he did prophesise.
I've even got a book with me today, which was
how he explained that away in terms of like
sky.
Because the thing is,
he just got the year wrong. That was it, because he thought he
so what would you say his success rate was in terms of accurate prophecies, or again, is it down to just how you interpret it?
That'd be it.
Because again, how can you say this is going to happen specifically in this year? So, for instance, like we look every year, we've got episodes for the last couple of years going back about what Nostradamus prophesied for the coming up year, right? Yeah. Or the year ahead, right? So, how do the people who are working this stuff out, how are they able to kind of say that's going to happen in this timeline, like from that poetry? I mean, he doesn't generally give dates or times.
Apparently, all of them go in line, but the way he did it was he basically writ the quatrains and then he threw them in the air and then put them together and then writ like 1, 2, 3, 4.
So chaos.
Basically
chaos theory.
Yeah, because the 9/11 one was supposed to happen in 1996, as people were trying to predict. That was the timeline it was set at, but it was just off, and it generally is off by not that real long. It under 100 years. It's generally, and he goes, thousands of years. So he's
I get that.
He's in the ballpark, but like you said again,
but then again,
it depends
it's like
how
to kind of accurately pinpoint it to a certain year. I mean, and this is it. I mean, if something like for instance, we can have a look at some of the things that he said was going to happen and he prophesied for 2021. Zombie apocalypse. So apparently, a Russian scientist would create a biological weapon that produces a virus that can turn humankind into zombies, and we would be extinct as a result. That was a prediction for 2021. I mean, so chances are that could still happen.
Yeah, I'm just thinking with all these jabs, is it them who take the jabs? Is it them who don't take the jabs? Is it something brand new that comes in that actually affects us and we don't realise it yet? Or is it something that's been here for generations and it's just happening to turn around now and attack us? I mean, like you get like superbugs now, so you could do that in other ways.
I mean, we've got global warming will cause disasters.
Yeah,
he predicted that the areas with cold or subtropical climates would become tropical.
Yeah,
glaciers would melt. Volcanoes would become active. Large areas of the east coast of America would disappear and swallowed up. New York and Connecticut, a huge wave would sweep into the west coast. Now, we've had flooding in New York recently.
But apparently,
and there has been a lot of disasters this year, hasn't there? I mean, so he's not got that wrong.
But apparently, for this year as well, New York gets a major strike, apparently.
Well, he's predicted like major climate catastrophes, and I think that's pretty much on the money.
Yeah. Florida gets a little bit as well.
Solar storms.
Well, I've been talking about it for the last couple of weeks, how we've just missed like 2 really, really close ones, and the one before that was like only 2012. It is not that long if you consider how much energy the sun throws out.
Yeah, well, other things that he predicted was earthquakes, comets, and like I say, solar storms. One of which, a devastating earthquake would destroy California this year.
This year?
Yeah, according to some interpretations of the quatrain written by Nostradamus, an extremely powerful earthquake would destroy California in 2021.
Well, I would say at the moment it's fires that are destroying it at the minute. But don't forget there's been a lot of earthquake examinations around there at the moment because everyone considered that it's going to be close. We don't know when, but we're right on top of the time it's going to happen.
This is so sort of specific. Here's one that was predicted for 2021. American soldiers would have a brain chip implanted. Yeah. Ooh. So an American soldier would be turned into some kind of sort of cyborg or sort of
have that extra
advanced soldier.
Yeah.
Do you know, to be able to kind of
see at night without
I don't know. Yeah, whatever it does.
Like
I mean, that's something that you couldn't really. Smell. I mean, that could have happened this year.
You know what? It was only a number of years ago where the U.S. Navy just signed off that they can actually, any one of their troops, they can actually do whatever they want to him and have no consequence without them knowing about it.
Yeah.
And it did get to it was that kind like a couple of about 30-40 years ago, but then they stopped it, but then it was just reopened again that they can, and the military will be able to do it.
No, I don't think you should be doing stuff like that. I mean, the sort of ethical, quandaries and dilemmas with this whole cyborg implants and stuff.
Yeah,
I just think, not only, I mean, everyone's going on about, especially in the UK, there's been a lot of protest about, getting vaccine passports.
Yeah.
And it's you are creating a new class system by doing that, because you've got the vaccinated and the unvaccinated, and you can't, people being uninvited to weddings and all
because you can't get in, or you have to take 2 weeks, like in a hotel, before you get over. I mean, there
was actually a case today where you've got 2 people on TV refusing to get a jab because they don't believe in it, and then it's like, well, what do they do? You can't sack them.
Yeah.
Well, it's like it creates. It kind of does create this sort of class system. So when you're introducing technology into the body, where you've got, there's going to be people who can afford that better upgrade and the next best better kit, or like the Supreme package. And then, well, how much data can you process?
And what are they getting? And it's like,
are you a better person because you've got a faster processor or a more advanced eye chip or fucking whatever? Yeah, do you know what I mean? So all of a sudden you've got a new class system of advanced versus unadvanced. Do you know what I mean?
They're gonna. Got to wonder, what are they getting in return? What are the company getting in return? The information.
What do you mean? You're owned.
Yeah, well, yeah, you aren't. It's like a computer. You get something free. What happens? Not free.
It's exactly the same principle as having a mobile phone, right? Yeah. So if you've got a chip in your head that basically just has all the same capabilities as your phone, you're logging into the same accounts and creating the same passwords and all the rest of it.
Yeah.
It's just that you've changed that device from being something that you carry around with you to being something that's inside you or part of you. And it's like, well, that in that case, it's man plus, isn't it? It's
I think some people would think the next stage of
well, no, it's not natural. It's not the next stage in evolution, because the next stage in evolution's the next stage in evolution. This is man taking the piss and fucking about with shit they shouldn't be.
Exactly. That bang on.
Thank you. I do appreciate. Thank you.
Yeah.
But evolution is evolution, and let that just carry on its natural course.
Yeah,
please.
exactly. Leave it alone.
I think this is a pretty interesting topic with the whole cyborg. Integration, but we're here to talk about some of his other prophecies as well. And like I say, we've looked at some of the prophecies for 2021. What do you reckon so far? Do you think he's got about 50% there, right?
Yeah.
I mean, we've still got a couple of months left on the year for that zombie apocalypse.
That's true. Anything could happen between that time and at the minute, the way things are going on, it bloody well could. You know what I mean? Anything in seconds.
Well, there's a lot of stuff. Moment. I mean, I thought, I'll be genuine, when I read that last year, and I was like, come on, zombie apocalypse. Yeah. I mean,
thought it was a bit over the top.
I'm prepared. Don't get me wrong. Yeah, right. Yeah. If one happens, we've done an episode on it. If you're not prepared, go back and listen to that episode, and you will be prepared within an hour. Yeah, you'll know exactly what to do in that situation. Well,
be prepared.
We're prepared anyway. So Nostradamus, he's come up with quite a lot of really top shelf stuff for this the coming year, 2022.
Yeah.
We'll crack off with the US dollar. So Nostradamus is claiming that the US dollar will collapse. Yeah, according to his predictions in 2022. Inflation will spiral out of control and the US dollar will collapse. Gold and silver and Bitcoin will all be basically considered assets in which is worth investing more money, which is basically right. Obviously, that's that. I think that's the case now in terms of gold, silver.
Well, yeah.
Well, this is
the petrodollar's gone.
We've just talked about solar storms, right? Yeah. If there was a massive solar storm, EMP style thing, I think we've talked about this multiple times. You know, Bitcoin's useless. You can only spend what you've got, and if you can't get access to it because it's online, then
it's like pictures now. You don't keep pictures. You've got them on your phone and that.
Yeah.
Well, print them out because if your phone's gone, your pictures have gone.
Couldn't agree more with that. Actually, I love the physicality of having photographs as well.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not the same as being like
just seeing it on the screen,
scanning it on your phone.
Yeah,
they're so disposable on your phone. It's just print them out.
That's it. I think they should bring back
put them in
old
albums.
photos.
Put them in albums.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I appreciate and show the family history and your friends' history as well. The friendship.
Well, this is the thing, isn't it? Because think about all that history that's going to be lost. Yeah, right. Because how often is it that you find an old photograph and think, oh, I love this is really cool. Or who is you wonder about the lives. It's not going to be that.
10 years ago, if you got a photograph,
because you get rid of your phone, you delete all your photographs, or you lose them, or your phone breaks, and
it's in the cloud. But there's a lot of hackers out there. The cloud could easily fucking disappear.
I don't have an iPhone. I have a Samsung or whatever. And an Android. And I got an email saying that I needed to download 3,500 photographs from the cloud, otherwise they'll be deleted. And I was like, what? Panic stations.
Well, look what iPhone's
doing
now.
To put them.
iPhone's collecting on the next one, collecting all photos from every single iPhone and putting it and storing it and looking at them and then deciding themselves if that picture is wrong or not. Yeah.
Well, isn't it good that Big Brother's looking out for you?
Well, exactly. I mean, what about all the private pictures that you've got with your missus or stuff? I know.
Well, let's we're going on a bit. I think, like we say, from the US dollar collapsing, we went a bit skewiff there.
Well, so printing money like there's no tomorrow. They're already GDP's over 120%, which. If you go at 90%, you're bankrupt. So they're well over the bankruptcy now.
It's like if everything got wiped, you'd be screwed. So gold and silver would be the one, really, wouldn't it?
Old school comes back.
Have you found any predictions? I found quite a lot.
I found apparently the UN and Russia are going to become closer.
Oh right, okay.
Yeah, they're going to have
Ukraine
partnerships. No, Russia and the UN.
Oh, right, because I read one that was saying that Russia and the Ukraine were going to make up as well.
Well, good.
Which I thought was quite nice.
Yeah, I think there should be a lot of make-up.
Well, talking about Russia, it's funny that we brought up Russia there because one of Nostradamus' claims was that Putin would be assassinated in 2022.
Yes. You know what? I'm surprised. No one's attempted it already, to be honest, on the way.
We could say that about bloody a lot. You could say that about a lot of bloody politicians at the minute. Yeah, they're all bloody, all a bit shit.
That is true. Let's hope not. But
you've got what was it? I seen the Canadian Prime Minister getting stoned the other day. And I don't mean in a good way. He was somebody literally hurled a rock at his head.
Oh shit.
Yeah. You've got I think nearly, and then he just waved and got on a bus. You've got, Putin, you've got kind of Putin's pretty much kind of not going anywhere. There's no sort of democracy there, is there?
But apparently it was from one of his own people, according to Nostradamus.
Really?
The way they worked it out, they believe that it's actually one of his own.
Well, apparently there's going to be quite a few assassination attempts, but in 2022, he will die one stormy night.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah, he will set sail to sea and be struck by lightning. So it's not really an assassination, is it? It's an accidental death.
Well, I do know of another assassination attempt which probably you might be happy about, and a lot of people will be.
It says the great man will be struck down in a day by the thunderbolt, an evil deed foretold by the bearer of a prediction. According to the prediction, another falls at night time. conflict at realms, London. Oh, God knows what that. See, this is where you start getting into the translation stuff. It's all a bit gobbledygook.
Yeah, if that's actually what it's.
Well, if that's what they're trying to say, that a great man will get struck down by lightning. Sadly, I wouldn't say it was an assassination, but you could. It's how you put it.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's how you kind of interpret that. You could argue
there's a lot of great men out there.
Getting struck down by lightning could be like getting shot. I mean, was there that type? Was the sort of weapons there?
Well, someone put it
when
across.
Nostradamus was about. What sort of weapons were they using in the 1500s?
Bow and arrow.
Bow and arrows, yeah. So, I mean, anything that fires a loud crack noise and delivers that sort of thunder.
Rifles were coming into, and also cannons, so you've got that as well, depending where you were at the time.
Yeah, so Putin potentially.
I heard one that Trump.
Yeah, well, I heard that for this year.
Yeah.
Actually, Trump was going to get assassinated this year.
But apparently the way it's been put is some kind of poison or something, and he goes blind, but he does go for re-election, wins, and
blind Trump wins
something
election.
Changes. Yeah.
Seriously.
Yeah. That's apparently someone's translation of it. That Trump will be blinded by a poison on an attempt on his life.
What is this for this year or next?
For next year.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. So it's like, watch out.
What Beatles about?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Nostradamus also predicts more natural disasters. A huge hurricane in France next year in 2022.
In France.
Yeah, the hurricane will cause this.
There's been some weird seasons.
This is a bit of a contradiction, though. Yeah, right. Because apparently this huge hurricane will cause fires, droughts, and floods.
Yeah.
Can you have a drought and a flood at the same time?
Yeah, because if you can't drink the water, if it's...
We'll just dish out a load of those life straw things, do you know what I mean?
Don't necessarily work in every condition.
No, that's true, actually.
Yeah.
Well, floods will basically happen in many parts of the world, but France in particular, don't know about that. I mean, obviously, France is... pretty prime for it. I mean, we are, to be honest. I mean, if you think about how if we were to kind of get a surge of water... because there's that massive glacier, isn't there, in the that's just like floating about, and if it melts, then it could literally get rid of London, if you like. London could just be all the south of England could be underwater, and it would change the coastline of a lot of countries.
Well, yeah, that's true. I mean, it did actually happen 500 years ago in England. It actually covered the whole of England. Thanks.
Really?
Yeah, thanks to a 17-year-old.
Where was I?
Doing some study.
I must have been out that day or sleeping in.
It was hidden history. It was in.
Well, there was a part of England that was obviously the land underneath the channel. Do you know, like between England and France? That apparently that was Doggerland, and you could actually use it to traverse it.
Yeah,
and
that's true.
Now it's underwater and is the English Channel.
Yeah.
Do you think the French mind that we call it the English Channel?
Well, it's ours, so I don't care what they want to call it.
It's connected to them as well.
Yeah, only a little bit, more majority to us. So it's our channel. We do what we want.
It's my channel.
You listen to our rules.
You can't have
follow our rules, and we'll be nice with you, and you be nice with us, and we'll be good neighbours.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I was going to say there's declaring stuff there.
But they've been nicking our fish. So
well, France, we'll get into that later in the news. Any other predictions that you've seen that Nostradamus that you thought were a bit out there for next year?
Just same again, like floods and more fires, more kind of little disasters in there.
Well, no, this is where we start getting into the end of the world tackle. Right, because this year, so next year has got a lot to live up to if Nostradamus is correct. Not all necessarily stuff that we want to happen, to be honest.
That's true.
First big one, artificial intelligence. Will attack the human race. This is on par with the zombie apocalypse prediction, though.
Yeah, but you know what? With what's been going on about UFOs and aliens and people actually waking up and realising that there's actually something in it somewhere along the lines, not necessarily everything, because, there's a view on different parts. Well, possibility is there. You know what I mean? The possibility is there.
Well, what they're saying is obviously the computers are going to get so complex by next year that you could basically carry a personalized computer in your pocket, which you can now.
You do now, yeah.
But it's going to be able to simulate brain power. Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting.
It'll be able to, have the power of basically simulate the power of a brain power of a small village, if anything. Yeah. Okay. So think about your brain power magnified. Yeah. This is how surreally intelligent this computer is going to be becoming.
Mega dangerous, man.
Then it's going to consider mankind and what we're about and why are we here and what Skynet and shit. Do you know what I mean?
Quantum computers, where I reckon the chances are on that one, because like the brainiest folk, they can do a lot more calculations, and it's not on numbers, it's on actually particles.
I think if you could handle artificial intelligence, as long as you don't give it the means to be able to
control
travel.
Travel?
Yeah, you isolate it so it can't communicate with other entities. It can't.
That gets rid of the net.
You know, it's like with Ultron in Avengers, where it's like, it becomes sentient. It wants to create itself a body. You know what I mean? And be able to maneuver around and move around. It doesn't want to be trapped in one place. It's a sentient being. So, artificial intelligence. The end of the day, I think science fiction's always kind of considered the idea that artificial intelligence would reach a stage where it does wonder why it's being controlled by an inferior species and obviously a brain power that's inferior to theirs.
So, I mean, if you can write it, it can happen. At the end of the day, if you can imagine
dream
something
it,
happening,
you can do it.
It could happen.
Potentially.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
Well, there you go. I mean, artificial intelligence rising up to attack humankind isn't enough. I think Nostradamus is going to be thinking a lot of wars going to be happening, explosions of many kinds, but one in particular in the Mediterranean Sea, which would be quite bad. Which will the sky will burst into a great explosion that will spread in the atmosphere. And it'll be like the equivalent of like a nuclear. It'll be during a nuclear missiles test. Yeah.
Oh, right. Okay.
Yeah. So it's going to be accidental, and it's not going to be.
This is what happens when you fuck around with stuff you don't understand.
At something. Yeah. But and it's going to be a bad thing. It's going to be not a good. Well, no, he's predicting meteorites as well.
Yeah, but now I'm thinking EMP bombs.
Wait a minute, let's not pile all the disasters on top.
No, I'm just thinking what he's...
So first of all, right, we've got artificial intelligence to worry about, right?
Yeah.
Then during a missile test, which is happening quite a lot at the minute, if you look at what's going on in Korea, they're having a little mini arms race going at the moment. But they're saying, that this missile or nuclear warhead, it's going to set the sky on fire, essentially. Yeah.
Yes.
That links into another one of his prophecies that is coming up. But I mean, this next one could also be a reason for it. Asteroid showers that destroy the Earth.
Well, yeah. There's always that potential, especially with lately that we've had quite a few that we haven't seen until like the last hour or so.
Right. Well, what they're saying here, right, is that a great fire will rain from the sky for 3 days, right?
Yeah. Sounds like a shower, that.
Yeah, totally. It's going to cause quite a lot of destruction. Yeah. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's going to cause, bright fireballs in the sky.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fire, a lot of smoke.
For 3 nights, we'll see it. And it'll also cause a lot of problems, but if a big enough rock falls into the ocean, it'll obviously cause a lot of tidal waves.
Yeah.
Which, like we said earlier, would engulf quite a lot of land and stuff like that. So, something to look forward to.
I have heard a part of that as well, that actually 2/3 of the planet would be devastated. Basically, they'd be wiped out.
What do you mean? What?
2/3 of the human species and animal species and all other kind of species would be wiped out.
Right.
Yeah, that's the number on the amount of devastation it's going to make.
Right. Well, apparently next year it's going to be the end of rainbows.
Ah, you can't. No, where we're going to put the
rainbow. No more
Where's
rainbows. No more pots of gold. Leprechauns are out of work.
Companies are going to nick the gold.
Seriously, right? So they're saying, I don't know if it's this nuclear test that they were going on about, but and obviously it said that it was going to, affect the sky and set fire to the sky.
Shoving shit on the sky.
Well, apparently, yeah. Well, like I say, one of his earlier prophecies we just talked about said that they're gonna do a warhead test and it's gonna be a devastating, scorched fucking atmosphere, right? So, in another prediction, though, he says a devastating nuclear bomb will explode in 2022. The nuclear bomb will explode and produce climate changes that will change the Earth's position in the heavens. Yeah, and for 40 years, the rainbow will never appear.
For 40 years?
Yeah, so I'm assuming that there'll be particles in the atmosphere that means that we don't get rainbows. Like the light's not penetrating to bring those colours through and that spectrum. That's sad.
Not only that, in the upper atmosphere, that's where a majority of our insects are.
I don't mind if they go. Well, to be honest.
Well, then how are you going to get your plant? Fan. How are you going to get your
food?
True.
No, I know they've got. I know they've got a reason.
How you got how the birds
going to eat?
Yeah, how the birds going to eat and lizards and
Well, what do you reckon to that?
I reckon it's a fucking disaster.
Well, also. It'll basically lead to a great flood.
Yeah, I know. I've
because the earth will become more arid and grow dry. Yeah, and then a great flood will come. Yeah. Wow, it's very end of days. I know. So
he's a gloomy fella, isn't he?
The thing was, right, when I got to this point in my research, I was like, I'm just gonna quickly check 2023, right? Yeah, because you think that. He's predicting the end of days here, right? For 2022. So we're wondering what his predictions are for 2023.
Yeah, because he doesn't finish.
Couldn't find any.
3797 is when he finishes. That's the date.
What date?
The year 3797 AD.
Right.
Is the end of what he writes about us.
So, well, how are we still getting prophecies this late on in the day then?
Well, I think these are big disasters, but. There's going to be a certain majority that are going to be live through it.
Well, it's almost like throw enough shit some sticks, isn't it?
Oh,
it's if I sat here writing prophecies all day, then 20 years down the line, you could look at some of those and go, do you know what? He was right about that. Well, 1 out of 20 is good. Do you know what I mean? Or like you just don't, you try and, not focus on those ones.
Well, yeah, that's true.
Devastating bombs aside, earthquakes and natural disasters, I mean, it's kind of like, pointing to the end of days. Now, one thing that he did predict was 3 days of darkness. Yeah. He said in the year 2022 will bring a lot of destruction, but also followed by peace.
Oh, well, at least we'll get...
now, I think, do you know what? I kind of buy this, because he's saying a darkness of 72 hours will precede peace. Yeah. So... It'll be around autumn time. So I do...
And after disaster, there'll be less of us. We're going to have to work together.
These prophecies, they all kind of relate to the same thing. Yeah. That there's going to be a nuclear arms test or a nuclear test that sets the sky on fire, destroys rainbows, plunges us into darkness for 3 days. Yeah. But afterwards, we're going to go, holy shit. Yeah. We're never going to do that again. Right.
Well, that's what happened with World War II.
The luckiest motherfuckers going. Yeah. Well, no, maybe this is that catalyst that, we had World War II and we changed a lot of things and we looked at ourselves and we went, right, let's not repeat the mistakes of the past.
Yeah.
Now, we haven't got to that war stage where we have in a lot of ways, but not to a scale like a world war yet.
It only takes one mistake.
It's the climate war. It's the fight for our actual survival now on the planet, right? So it's like when, you've got these kind of elements where we all know that nuclear weapons are a bad idea, and housing them and just having them for protection isn't really the answer, because one country has them, you have to get them. If no one's got them, then nobody needs them.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean?
It's the deterrent thing. That's what a lot of countries
I'm sorry, I've said,
hoping
do you know what
for.
I mean, about 50 million times.
I know, you know what I mean.
And Mank Union, what do you want? But if you get where I'm coming from on that, I mean, it means that, if you don't need them, if no one's got them, then you don't need it for a deterrent, because you're not worried that anyone else is going to be firing it at you. Well, anyway,
it'd be more likely chemical,
it's always going to be the
or
way.
Biological.
It's always going to be the guy, he's got a bigger stick.
Yeah.
So I need a bigger stick than him. Yeah. Well, 3 Days of Darkness following Peace, I think that would be a catalyst in terms of, showing us that we can...
A wake-up call,
we might need that wake-up call.
That kick in the ass.
So in terms of, like, all of that destruction, could it be needed in a lot, in one way or another?
Well, I've got to agree with you. I mean, we're quite selfish people around the world. We look after ourselves. We don't really look after the environment or consequences of what we're putting out into the environment. We are getting better, but we're still not.
But no,
there,
because you can still see it. I mean, you can see, like, when you've got e-waste that's being sent to other countries to being processed, and literally the emissions that are being kind of generated from these countries that are burning all this waste to get the get the elements
so they
back,
can survive,
so they can fucking survive, and their health must be appalling because all them fumes and stuff they're breathing in.
Oh yeah,
they're not like they've not got
even in the water, the chemicals in the water,
stringent health and safety. You couldn't walk out in a bloody loading dock without a high vis these days. And then the fact that these guys are literally
pulling up your trousers,
burning rubbish.
Yeah. I mean, it's ridiculous.
I mean, no matter how much we say that we're trying to affect climate change in a positive way, as long as we keep doing these practices, then we're just basically outsourcing our carbon.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean, to another country, and it's not right.
Countries should be able to develop and dismantle and get rid of whatever they develop.
Offshoring our crap.
Yeah, well, everyone's offshoring, isn't it? Because it's a set of business. Oh, it's business to travel around the world. We make more money. Yeah, but you're spending more money and you're putting more shit in the environment when you don't need to.
Oh, there you go. There's Nostradamus' predictions for 2022.
Yeah, not looking so bright, is it?
Well,
apart from the peace at the end.
Those who survive will live to see peace.
Yeah.
It sounds very dramatic.
It does.
Especially in my year.
Here's hope he's wrong on this year, and it might be,
well, he was wrong about the zombie apocalypse so far. So let's see.
Yes.
I mean, you can't be right all the time.
Oh, no, no. Some of the time.
But that's a lot of predictions that all kind of tie in together. And I think you'll agree, listeners at home. If you've got anything you want to add, or, just give us a shout.
Or question us on.
Oh, yeah, if you've got a question about tonight's episode, you know what to do. You can send us an email at neverstraightanswer@gmail.com or hit us up on social media. Well, like always, we've scoured the World Wide Web to find you the best news and headlines from the world, space and beyond, and this week's no different. And we're going to dive straight into that right about now.
Yeah.
It's the news! Oh yeah. Exciting week.
Yes.
Lots of spacey stuff going on.
We'll
be getting on to that a bit shortly on. Bit shortly. Bit shortly on. I don't know if that's actual English.
Is it English?
I don't know. Well, this next news story could be like linked to that. Apparently, college students, I don't think it's just college students, apparently drank a lot less during the pandemic.
Oh, right, okay.
But used weed and psychedelics at a record high.
Good for the liver, but not so good for the chest and...
Oh, yeah, I suppose. Yeah, these, but at least your liver's all right.
Well, yeah, that's it. You need to give your liver a break.
Obviously, it was like, I was saying this, because obviously, when you were a working person, you're like, oh, well, I ain't got 5 days to recover from anything like that. Anything as hedonistic. Do you know what I mean? I've got stuff to do in the morning. Can't be doing that.
Well, that's it.
So, I mean, obviously, you sat in your house and you're looking to escape in some way.
You gotta have the poison.
Doing a bit of something, chilling out at home is probably a good way to while away the hours. Obviously, I'm not recommending you do anything.
No, I mean,
but it is magic mushroom
stuff
season.
as well.
I'm joking. What do you reckon to the survey? Do you think that's about right? I don't believe that that's just college students.
No, I reckon it's a lot of people who are on the let's say big break.
On the old herbal cigarettes.
Yes, which in one way it's good for you. In another way, as long as you're not taking too much.
It's like same
as alcohol.
Sat at home, smoked a joint, and thought, do you know what? I've always fancied learning the oboe.
Yeah, that's
Why
it.
not?
I've always wanted to exercise like this. I've always wanted to do the is it the Mamba?
The cha-cha.
No, there's Zumba.
The Zumba.
The Zumba, yeah.
I've always fancied a bit of yoga.
Yeah. Bit of dog.
What?
Bit of dog, yeah. Is it a standing dog?
I don't know. I don't do you. Well, go on anyway. So have you seen any news this week? I just thought that was an interesting little topic. I've got a few statistical topics tonight. So little statistical news stories.
Have you? Sweet.
Give us a bit of news.
Well, I've got a bit of news from German scientists who are teaching cows to piss in the corner, basically, by feeding them and going.
They are the Pavlovian conditioning. Yeah. So they're doing a bit of Pavlov's dog on them.
Yeah, basically. And they're doing it for environmental reasons.
Well, how is it environmental reasons? Because
chemicals into the land, into the...
Wait a minute. Cow pats are great for the land.
Yeah, they are, but they're not for the water.
Well,
which travels downstream.
Yeah. All right,
into,
fair.
You know
that's
what I mean?
fair.
And the urine the same.
So what are they planning on redistributing the muck in?
Well,
in
you can
ways?
use it.
I know
you
you can use it as fertilizer and stuff like that.
Yeah,
but these are manure.
Yeah. Well, it was mainly piss I was seeing. They were pissing more than they were shitting, to be honest.
I can't believe so. You're telling me that they've conditioned cows.
Yeah. Of a 3-year-old toddler. That's how much what they
that takes potty training to a whole new level.
Yeah, and you can see they've got videos of it. Just walk in. Here, I'll have a crumpet.
I'm not sure I really want to watch that video.
Well, it's only a bit.
It's
the back passage.
Viral video goes viral. Cow pissing in toilet.
Some people might get off on that, actually, thinking about it.
Poo-poo in the pate.
Yeah, you don't.
Poopy in the pate.
Oh, yeah, so scientists have been doing stuff for the environment, or trying.
Get a real job.
Yeah.
Fucking scientists. It's like, Mum, what are you studying, or what you're working on at the moment, son? I don't really want to tell you. You want a job that you can be proud of.
Yeah.
And I mean,
toilet roll holder.
He might be proud of that. He put his life into that. But
obviously it's a serious study to try and work out how to stop the environment being destroyed the way it is. And at least it's taking steps.
Cow pats have been around forever, man. How can you say that that's... I mean, you can fucking bottle the farts. That's probably a bit of a concern.
Well, yeah. Well, actually, apparently, more of it comes out of the mouth than it does out the ass.
Right. Okay.
So it's like, okay. So statistics that have been thrown around... Another one that has been falsely claimed.
To crudely moving on.
Yeah.
With but has a bit of an odd segue.
Oh right, okay, segue.
Beans, good for your heart.
Yes.
The more you eat, the more you fart.
Yeah.
Yeah. More methane.
Yes.
Right?
Oh yeah.
Well,
and
this is a story that was highlighted by the Manchester Evening News.
Yeah.
They've got concerns over kids buying baked beans.
Right, okay.
Right. I don't know if you've heard about this trend that's gone viral. It's beaning.
Beaning?
You've been beaned.
Sounds like a sexual
Mr. Bean.
Yeah.
Beaning.
Okay.
Right. So shops have been urged to look out for children buying large quantities of beans and tinned goods.
Days. So if you've got some beans, you might be able to get some money there.
Well, police have issued a warning to shops that concerning a new viral trend that involves baked beans. Shops have been urged to look at children buying large quantities and family-sized tins, whilst parents are being encouraged to check their cupboards. Yeah, I mean, it obviously got my head scratching. I'm like, what the fuck's beaning when it's at home?
Yeah, it's a bit of a weird thing they're playing.
It's a new trend that's took over social media, and beaning involves Children smearing baked beans into other people's driveways, doors, cars, and of course filming it.
So it's sort of like egging in the old days when they egg at house.
It's going to be a full English soon,
wow,
isn't it?
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
Like we've had
sausages through the front
sausages, beans, bit of toast.
Yeah, a bit of mushroom. Yeah.
Wow, yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah.
Just full English. You've just been full Englished, fool.
Hey, yeah, it'd be a new craze.
Well, beaning, numerous videos have been posted on social media with the hashtag Bean Bandits.
Oh,
fools. Now, no, it is a horrible thing though, because I don't know if you've ever let bean juice dry out. Yeah, it's the toughest substance known to man.
Bar Weetabix.
And well, Weetabix
is like concrete,
but bean juice is just as bad, right?
Yeah.
So imagine somebody pours a tin of beans on your bonnet of your car, and it's been sat out for the day, and you don't realise, and you come up, fucking hell.
More than a bit pissed off.
You're scraping beans off your bonnet for months.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, and then it leaves that stain there, and it will always stay there.
Well, apparently it's a messy craze, and it's also potentially harmful to dogs.
All right.
Because obviously they eat the beans, and then they probably get the runs. They get the farts and the runs.
Well, yeah. They could be having the runs.
Well, that's where.
Yeah, I didn't think of it that way.
Well, there you go. Go on, have you got anything?
I have.
What's that? Is that I've got a cat creeping behind me?
No, I don't think so.
I thought it was a cat. Sorry, I
felt
feeling
something. Things, mate.
Felt a cat. Anyway.
Hudson.
Well, Hudson Hawk.
Hudson Mare. Yeah,
right, yeah.
They, talking about kids. I mean, they've basically
talking about kids.
Yeah, well, basically, the Hudson Mayor's gone and seen the school board and asked them to either resign or they will be prosecuted for handing out children paedophilia.
What?
Ideology. What? Ideology. As in, there's a book in there.
You were telling me earlier that he's just asked him to resign. But
yeah, he's asked him to resign.
Exactly. Well, what? Wait a minute. Right.
They've got a course that teaches
like sexual education.
Sexual education, yeah. But the way it's coming across to high school students is, as a judge claims to say that it is illegal. It's illegal to have this stuff to show to children.
Wait a minute. So is it the teachers that are showing them the stuff, or is it the board that are telling the teachers to show them the stuff?
It's the board telling the teachers to show, and it's been the book's been out for
I
like
mean,
6
any
years.
reputable teacher. I mean, obviously, if it's the curriculum, you'd still have a moral sort of opinion about it.
I would have thought.
I mean, so I'd be investigating the teachers as well in this instance.
Well, they're all going to be investigated by the looks of things, and I think they should be all charged. Not
now. Where's this?
This is Hudson.
And where's Hudson? Hudson's obviously is it a parish
Ohio
or a town or in Ohio? In Ohio.
Yeah.
Right, okay, bloody hell. If you've got any listeners out there and you know what was going on a bit more, let us know, because that sounds horrific, whatever's going on there.
Well, it's all over online, on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter. I've seen it on there, and there's quite a lot about it, but yeah, it was breaking news yesterday, I think it was.
Wow.
So go out and have a look if you're interested. Anything you've got?
No, you go. I've got a couple more stories, but you carry on, sir.
Well, I've got gas companies in Britain have been being pulled in by the government to try and drop the gas prices so companies can work more effective and gain their profits, I suppose.
Well, I understand where they're coming from, but it's like you could. So are they going to go to the landlords as well and say, can they have the rent cheap as well?
Well,
I understand that, but I mean, obviously the energy companies have been taking getting a lot more custom, or noticing a lot of more people are using a lot more energy, like gas and electric. Especially when people in lockdown, you're in the house more. You're using your own amenities rather than work's amenities.
That's true, but
if you're out of the house all the time, you'd probably noticed your energy bills going up.
Yeah.
Yeah. So companies have been saving a lot of money. Yeah. Right. Over that period, they've had closed offices. They've had shops closed down. at the end of the day, they've had to keep the rent paid or whatever, right? But they would have had to pay that anyway, and they've saved on those energy costs.
Yeah, but for the last couple of years before the pandemic, they was when we was getting the gas from Europe, prices were going high, low. But when it went low, we still paid high. And
that's the average consumer, though, isn't it?
So they never dropped it, and then it continues going high.
Are they fighting for the average consumer? Because I'd rather than be fighting for them to lower our energy bills as households, rather than businesses.
I'm hoping so, because then we spend more.
Yeah, exactly. Because then we've got more money to spend in fucking businesses, which boosts profits.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah? Rather than asking the energy companies to give businesses a little slack on their energy, give it to the actual man on the street.
It should be everyone. It should be put aboard everyone.
Yeah, it should
basically.
be. I suppose, the energy firms should be looking at it and going, we've had record.
Yeah, you've had record
years,
hikes.
So let's pass some savings back to the people.
Exactly. You know what I mean? You've got enough money there. You ain't going to die with it. You know what I mean? You can't spend it when.
Well, we actually proved that wrong.
Well, that's true. That is very true. Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
I've got this story. 40%. It's more of a statistic, really, but I thought it was quite cool because, it is one of those statistics that it's coming more prominent with AI and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's right.
But 40% of people say they would have sex with a robot.
Ooh,
it's 40%.
That's quite high.
In other news, 60% of people were found to be liars.
Well, then you're predicting that everyone would.
What?
Because if it's 60% as well, there's
that's what I'm saying.
Everyone
most people
would do it. Well, a lot of people do it now, though.
Well, I was saying that. What about sex aids that are already available on the market? I mean, it's what do you consider a robot?
Yeah, and there's a lot of toys out there, and a lot of people.
Toys is a mechanism. It's a mechanized tool to do the job.
Yeah,
right. Yeah, if you like. Yeah, and it is, if that's not a robot.
Yeah, so I think I agree actually with you that it may be a bit low. I think it'd be a bit more higher. Actually.
That's what I'm saying.
More
there's
like 60%.
There's a lot of people who say that was incorrect. I'd say it was a bit more. Yeah. You get a lot of people who didn't want to be prudish, but behind closed doors, the little deviants.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean?
Little devils in the bed.
Let's get down the sex dungeon.
Let me shave
it's mad,
your balls.
Right? Because I've seen those documentaries and stuff where it's people will have a relationship with a fucking toaster or a bridge
or a horse
or whatever. Yeah, horses. Well, there's this story which is actually tied back to NASA.
The good old NASA.
And it's a woman who admits a sexual experience with a dolphin as part of a NASA study.
Yes.
Oh, Taylor knows this one well.
Yeah, no,
I've seen the vids.
I've seen her comments.
You can only get it from really rondy shops.
Well, you got them special ones, the back door.
Well, a woman who took part in a somewhat bizarre NASA-funded experiment involving dolphins said the animals became so close that they even tried to have sex with her. And you can see a full interview, which is available on the lad's Bible, credited by the BBC. Back in the 1960s, this was Margaret Howell Lovett.
It went last week.
Was part of an experiment that saw people spending long periods of time swimming with dolphins.
Now we know why.
It's come on, let's have a relationship.
Yeah, it was a weird science experiment, but I believe it only happened. I believe it only happened once. It might have happened.
It only happened once.
Let's just hope it happened only the once. But
it's crazy.
It's
a crazy little thing called love.
Well, obviously the dolphin was a bit peckage for the human.
Well, it's got a bond with it. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? It was, it's nice.
Well, they're intelligent animals, aren't they?
They are intelligent animals.
Well, talking about them, did you hear about? I can't remember what the island was called now. I think about 3,000 dolphins.
Dolphin Island.
Is it Dolphin Island?
No, I'm just making it up.
I can't remember what I just remembered about it. And basically, it's a tradition of slaughtering dolphins.
And taking them.
I mean, it's obviously the people around the world have condemned it. and that tradition seems.
Yeah,
to
there is. I think
that
that happens in certain parts of China. I think where they're ceremonially allowed to do do a dolphin, kill a dolphin, and I mean, it's like on one hand, if it's religious beliefs and stuff like that, it's only one every now and again. It's I know it sounds awful, but I mean, it's like rather causing an international incident where you're telling a peoples that you can't do something or practice their religious beliefs. It's not a sort of world we live in, is it? Really?
Well, no. I mean, they go out in boats and bring them to shore, and then you've got like hundreds of people on shore, and then just grabbing them, killing them.
No, that's wrong.
Red.
Yeah, no,
the sea was red. There was like fucking thousands on the beach, man.
No, they need to dial that back a bit. They need to definitely dial that back a bit. Yeah, that sounds like fucking one of those like a bit kill crazy.
Yeah, well, yeah, it sort of is. I mean, think if dolphins are already having problems now, you've got like once a year you've got like a couple of thousand getting slaughtered for no reason. No wonder, like the species.
You're very macabre tonight. Let's.
Thank you.
Well, that's not a compliment. I'm going to move.
I'm going to take it as one, no?
I'm going to move on. Yeah, right. Move the atmosphere on. Yeah, right. With a bit of Disney.
Oh, a bit of Walt.
Well, this guy, he's a man who's stolen a Walt Disney World issued iPad.
Oh, naughty boy.
And he was found giving tours in the Hollywood Studios apartments.
Clever lad.
Yeah. He apartments, complex, if you like. Yeah, right. He was using it to skip long lines. Yeah, right. According to Orange County Sheriff's Office.
Oh, that's meant, man.
Yeah, well, he's took advantage, didn't he?
Exactly. There was a leaking.
He was issued with trespassing, and in June. But according to an incident report at Walt Disneyland, employees saw this guy giving unauthorized tours around the park, leading the group with around rides.
Sweet.
Yeah, he was getting them all into the top front of the lines and stuff like that. Yeah, using this Disney stolen iPad.
But was he getting paid?
No, he wasn't. He stole the iPad.
Good lad.
He's probably getting paid off like the guys he's duped into taking the tour.
Yeah, that's what I mean. If they got paid off that, then I'm surprised he didn't put more charges, but it sounds like he didn't. So he was doing
probably
it for
just
fun.
took a group of mates in it. It's like, I bet I can get you round Disneyland faster than anyone and get you on all the rides.
Yeah, that's it. Well,
front of the line.
They made the mistake, and consequences.
He's been charged, so it's not really a top class move, is it?
Well, but he got caught, didn't he?
It's one of them, isn't it? It's like depending what his punishment is, it's like pleasure pain sort of thing way up. It's like was it worth it?
Yeah, well, true.
Really got to ride that ride
a
couple of times,
several times.
I mean, if you are a Disney fan, you can actually book yourself a stay at Winnie the Pooh's house.
Oh yes.
Right in the slap bam in the middle of 100-acre wood. Nice. Winnie the Pooh's house has been offered on Airbnb to celebrate Disney's 95th anniversary. Winnie the Pooh's house will be available to rent.
95.
It's awesome. It looks literally like the house Winnie the Pooh lives in the books.
Yeah, it does look good, actually.
It's a unique experience that brings the charm of Pooh to life.
Oh,
that's beautiful.
As long as the
charm of Pooh.
We don't want a charm of Pooh. You want to flush it.
You never charm a Pooh.
No.
Take it out to dinner and buy it flowers.
Well, it depends.
Okay, I've been looking at you
There's
all
some dodgy
night.
People out there, so
Don't mean to be corny. So if you want to stay, it looks lovely.
It does. It looks nice.
That's in England, in Ashtown Forest in East Sussex. Inspired by A.A. Mills' 100-acre woods.
Right, it's worth it.
Take the kids.
Yeah, well, that
sounds awesome.
That'd be great for the little ones.
Well, this is the thing at the moment. It's staycations, isn't it? Everyone's kind of looking for something to do that's unique.
Yeah.
That's Instagrammable.
Yeah.
Yeah, they want to be that. Oh yeah, check where I am.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
In Bognor Regis. Do you know what I mean?
But look at me cabin.
Well, yeah, that's exactly the point, isn't it? It's like if you're a kind of a bit of an entrepreneur and you're you've got a bit of land.
Yeah.
Try and recreate something like that. Draw the
clouds in. Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? rather than having just a bog standard caravan park.
Yeah.
You know, have some cabins what are kind of reminiscent
of
a bit, you know, like Winnie the Pooh's house.
Bit of history in there or something, you know.
I'm sure there's plenty of bedrooms that people would love to stay in or replicas of. You could have do you know what? I'm going to keep quiet now. I'm going to patent them ideas.
Yeah, actually, hush up, mate.
Well. Have you got any more news, Gov? We've got some NASA news.
I've got NASA, yeah, that's about.
Is that all you got?
Yeah, I have, mate. You got any more news?
I've got some NASA news.
What have you got?
Well, we'll kick off the NASA news with SpaceX's launch of the first civilian piloted crewed mission, I suppose you could call it.
Yeah.
They were absolutely. We reported this way back when this was first announced.
Yeah.
And we were like, these tickets going up for sale for like millions of pounds, to go up in this rocket. And this billionaire, whatever, swoops in, buys all 4 tickets. Yeah. But then he does something really quite cool with it. Yeah.
Very generous.
He auctioned them off for St. Jude's Hospital.
Yes,
which I thought was brilliant, right? Yeah. And 3 civilian people had the opportunity to blast off into space. Now, I know Jeff Bezos did one the other week, right?
Yeah.
And everyone got fucking like, oh, yeah, Jeff Bezos been to space, right? This mission is so far beyond that. It's unbelievable. Yeah. Mission. It was money that was going to a hospital. Yeah, children's hospital at that.
Good.
Yeah, right. It's landmark achievement considering it was for civilians, not astronauts. Yeah, right. They've not had all this training. One of them, the science officer, was a pediatrician who worked at St. Jude's, who was a child patient there.
Oh, right.
Yeah,
okay.
so she's seen the benefit of the hospital.
Yeah.
And obviously, it's
rewards.
very inspiring that she was going to be the youngest person to ever go to space.
Yeah.
Now, what amazes me about this mission is that they were going at least 100 miles past the ISS, which is further than most humans, human have been, apart from going to the moon. They're going to be up there. Well, they've been up there for 3 days. I think they've just touched down now, haven't they?
Well, everything went great and that. And I like the story of one of the gentlemen in there that he didn't actually win the ticket. His mate won the ticket and gave it him because he knew how he wanted to always go up there.
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, it's like at the end of the day, it is one of those things that, you've got people going up there, and it was called Inspiration 4.
I think it is, yeah.
Which it is inspirational because, like I say, these guys, they've been able to spend a bit of time up there as well. And, it is, I think it is the start of people going further out and, if they're going to go to Mars, if it is possible to eventually live on Mars, then civilians are going to have to make that trip. And if this is the first of those civilians to do it, then it's history in the making, isn't it? And another landmark for SpaceX and the Techno King.
And the kids got something massive out of it.
Indeed. So, NASA news, anything you've got to share?
I have. Well, the little helicopter that's...
the little helicopter that could on Mars. Yeah, is it still going strong?
It's going, but it's not going strong.
I was going to say, I was expecting one of the propellers to have broken or something by now.
Well, they're finding little problems like the rotation and the atmosphere, the changes.
Puff, give, man. You're fucking up the rotation.
And they're finding it harder and harder to actually do its job. So I think it's got a little while and then something's going to happen to it.
Right,
so while they've got the time, I think they're going to look for the most important things that they need to look at first before they look at, other stuff.
Right, okay. So, but is it still
working
mission capable and doing its stuff?
Yeah.
I think this is the thing.
Find dust.
We've said this with NASA. I mean, it's like, I know they don't build them like they used to, but when it comes to a lot of this kit, it outlives its expectations.
Yeah, look at Voyager 1 and 2.
Exactly.
Hell,
Yeah, I mean,
amazing.
there's stuff up there that is still working today that they didn't expect would even deliver as much research or material and data.
That's right.
Than ever. Do you know what I mean? It's still going strong, and I mean, and they're putting up even better, stronger.
Yeah, systems as we go
so
along.
I mean, the telescope you were just talking about there, what's that called again?
Oh, the James Webb.
Yeah.
The James Webb, is it's finally got its date when it's going up, and it be in December 2021. So at the end of this year, it be up there. So I'd say about the beginning of next year, it should be up and running, and we should be getting some nice little pictures.
That's going to be replacing
Hubble.
The Hubble, isn't it?
That was the replacement for it. But I think we're going to keep Hubble up there for.
I think Hubble will keep it.
You might as well.
Trouble.
Yeah, you might as well.
Hubble.
Yeah, until something major happens to it, and you have to spend God knows how much millions on it, then you might as well.
Well, the problem is with having only one telescope up there. Yeah, you point it in one direction, and you're limited to that area of the sky to look at. That's the data you're getting in. Yeah, but if you have two pointing in different directions, you can.
Yeah, exactly. We only do 1% of the sky. Now,
there you go.
Look how much is out there, and we don't know anything. But we're trying to get groundbreaking.
Little fish in a very big pond.
Very, very big pond. Well, ocean, I'd say.
Do you know what? It's funny that because I found this story, and it's really inspiring, really quite nice as well, right? Because obviously we all know there's no sound in space.
Well, that's right.
But there's a project that's from NASA that's turning that around, transforming images and into music, basically. So images of space and the data that they receive, these sort of signals or
they got to transfer it into the different elements.
Yeah, so it's all part of a sonification project. Yeah.
See.
And the agency's Chandra X-ray Observatory and the University of Learning program is heading it. And according to NASA blogs, so basically this takes images and data that's provided by NASA, and turns it into an audible signal.
Right, okay, yeah.
And I'm not even joking, it's beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful. So one of the most recent examples that showcases this is the Tycho supernova.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So this is what the Tycho supernova sounds like, right? How amazing is that?
I feel like I'm being hypnotised. Oh, wait.
So I'm assuming this is if you were to look at something on a graph.
Yeah.
Like a graph reading, say.
Yeah.
Like it was sort of like a build up and then a sort of petering off towards the end.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it was a supernova, so that was initial burst of music, and a burst of sound was the
first bit, the blast,
and then those tinkly bits were like the remnants,
shock waves afterwards. Yeah,
so it's amazing. So they're doing that with a lot of different space phenomena.
Yes,
and sonicifying it.
We'll be hearing it in the charts next year.
I love that. It's brilliant.
You reckon it'll hit a chart? I reckon
you'll get somebody integrating it into music.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Oh yeah. I mean,
it's a beautiful sort of sound at the end of the day, and it's a bit
something
different, isn't it?
Do it now.
Do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Send us your tape. I want to hear it. If you remix
if you got
that.
a remix of one of them, yeah.
Indeed.
It's a good idea, actually.
Well, UFO sightings are on the rise.
Oh yes, good.
Arizona,
people waking up,
had been voted the 9th most UFO sightings in 2020.
Ah, I see.
Phoenix, Arizona. Big news for paranormal researchers and truth seekers as fans of the occult. Arizona has been a hot spot.
It has. It's been a hot spot for a lot of years.
I know, it's up in the list now.
It is.
Also up in the list, third most sightings of 2020 was Washington.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, well, there's been quite a number over the years. I remember 52 over weeks there. There was loads of UFOs.
Really?
Yeah, it's over the White House as well.
Over the White House.
Yeah.
Well, there you go. It's like they're planning on landing on the White House lawn at some point, aren't they? Yeah. So they're probably just working out where's a good place to park.
Well, yeah, on the lawn, mate.
Yeah, just park outside where the flag is.
Yeah,
just
on the roof, I don't care. Just land. You know what I mean? Say hello.
Don't park at the White House.
Yeah. Well,
yeah.
There's
plenty of just park in the middle of Times Square.
I think we've got room here, haven't we? If we send up a flag, you can park.
Do you know where would be the best place? Like at a football stadium or something, because you've got like camera. You've got a massive crowd. Yeah. You've got enough room to land on a pitch.
Yeah.
Yeah. You've got camera crews all the way around you.
Yeah. So you can film everything.
So these automatically, something lands on a football stadium, then you've got cameras on it.
Yeah.
Straight away.
Yeah.
If you're not filming that, you're sacked.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
So automatically, and the capabilities to transmit it. Right, so if you want to get a message through, you've got a live audience and a televised one, football match.
Yeah,
sorted.
Plain and simple. Sorted that one out. Right now,
yeah, come on.
What we're going to say to
him? Take me to your leader.
Yeah.
We come in peace.
Yeah,
we don't. We don't come in peace.
Yeah, we come in pieces.
We're very hostile creatures.
Yes, you must have been
Are you sure you want to land here?
Yeah, I'd go next door, mate.
I'd say Mars is vacant.
Yes, at the moment, but we want to colonize.
Not necessarily, because actually
the
samples of the rock that they discovered as suggest that they could have a life, or could have.
Yes, this is what NASA's suggesting, that they reckon that's what. But
we kind of knew that.
Yeah,
I think I believe.
Some part of history,
to be honest,
someone's lived there.
This is what I don't even believe it, right? I kind of can just see it, yeah, right?
Okay.
And I've said this before,
You're having a vision.
I'm having a vision. I'm having a premonition, right? But it's more of not a premonition. Would you say a premonition something that looks into the future, or would you say or what would you say somebody who could see things of the past?
I'd say both.
Would you say that was a premonition of the past? Yeah, if you know better than us on this, let us know. Yeah, because obviously most prophets look to the future, but if you're able to kind of, at the moment you can research the past. Yes. Historians research the past, but having a premonition and seeing sort of the events of the past. Now, I'm not talking like the events of history. I'm talking on a cosmic scale.
Okay, yeah.
Like, they imagine that planet between Earth and Mars did exist, and it was there, yeah. It blew up. Yeah. It caused the extinction level event that made Mars the desert planet it is today.
Yeah.
The human race actually were on Earth. No. The human race were on Earth. Yeah, right. There was primates and
pieces of
primitive
fish.
Man, right? Primitive man's there, and the evacuees from Mars came here, which were the Anunnaki, whatever.
That's
whatever you want to call it. And then you've got that whole breeding with the human race.
Yeah, no, the Anunnaki story.
Then that all plays out like it does, but I reckon that's why.
Well, yeah, there is a possibility on that front that it could be Mars, because there was major shifts. So it's possible.
Potentially,
it's possible.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
We could.
There's always that potential.
We can always go down these rabbit holes.
Oh yeah, no, the Anunnaki.
Well, there you go.
Well, that's
the news.
Yes, it is.
It's been a good news this week. Well, not some of it was a bit grim, but what are you gonna do? That's the world we live in. I did have one more last thing. One last story to talk about. It's really about that. What's it? Have you heard that we've teamed up with America and Australia. I mean, we've always had a good relationship.
Yeah,
but we've developed a coalition now.
Yes.
AUKUS.
AUKUS. New coalition.
It's crazy, that, isn't it? I mean, I always but as soon as I saw that announcement, I was kind of like, we all know what you're kind of talking about here. You're a bit kind of talking about China.
And France. Yeah. France were pissed.
Well, they were saying around. France had a deal with, with Australia to build diesel submarines.
No, nuclear.
No. France had diesel submarines. Yeah, right. Yeah. And they were going to deliver them diesel submarines, creating jobs in France, right? Well, Australia have obviously done this new deal, and they've pulled out with France.
Yeah,
and it was a $90 billion deal, right? Yeah. So, I mean, there's a lot of that about. Well.
So it gives us money in the.
Well, it's
we're wicked at subs.
At the end of the day, it's like, well, it's not a problem. I mean, they could have provided nuclear subs, but it's not a case of that because I think it's because those types of weapons are closely guarded.
But
they wouldn't allow. Well, yeah, but that's old technology.
Yeah,
nuclear power technology is way more in advance. Exactly.
So you need nuclear nowadays.
Exactly. So what I'm saying is, it's like, you're selling, substandard equipment. Yeah. But by selling them the better stuff, it's like, well, you're putting it in their hands to do what reverse engineering, learn the secrets for themselves. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
so they don't really want to do it, and that's why they made a big deal about sharing secrets and sharing these advancements to to let them have nuclear submarines. And obviously, when they say nuclear submarines, it's powered, not
It's so they can survive like years underneath the ocean.
Well, yeah, it did cause a lot of problems with France, which I don't think a lot of people expected. But
they've proper thrown the fucking toys out there.
They did, because they were actually going to hold a big celebration with the US to celebrate their relationship. And they had a French naval ship docked in one of the harbours. There was ambassadors due to be meeting, and kind of like a big to-do. And they cancelled it.
Yep.
Said, no, we're not doing it.
Took the ambassadors.
Well, I'm going home and I'm taking my Ferrero Rochers with me.
Australia's ambassador's gone home, and so's the American one. They've proper they've shit in a nappy or something. They've done something. You know what I mean? They're just.
Let's just say there's a bit of turmoil in the world, isn't there? But if we're not brightened your day, then
at
least
go
a
outside,
little bit.
There may be a sun out there.
Then we've done our job.
Yeah,
and I can sleep well at night.
Yes,
we couldn't have done this without the help of our Patreons.
No, we couldn't. No.
We want to say thank you because you guys fucking rule.
Yeah, boys.
If you want to join the club, you can go over to Patreon and sign up. There's plenty of tiers to choose from, whatever your budget. From agent to special agent to beyond top secret. With plenty of perks and actual gifts if you sign up. So go and check that out.
Stuff there for you if you want it.
We've also got merch available on the website at neverastraightanswer.co.uk.
Oh, yeah.
Which is a pretty decent website, I've got to say. If I do say so myself.
You do.
You can download episodes, check out videos, got blogs, all sorts of stuff going on over there.
Hundreds of stuff there.
And
keep you busy.
Yeah, so if you've got any comments, queries, or suggestions,
you
can email us at neverastraightanswer@gmail.com. Or go over to social media and just hunt us down. Pretty approachable. So come and say hiya.
Yeah, we'll say hello.
Also, if you want to get involved with What's Fucked Up Where You're From or any of the features that we do on the show, it's our 150th episode next week.
It is.
So
getting old,
we might be here and doing something exciting. We don't know yet. We've not worked out we iron out the creases in that one.
Yeah, got to cross the T's and dot the I's.
All that stuff. Yeah. So we'll catch you next week.
We will.
We're available everywhere you want to get a podcast.
Yeah.
So make sure you do just that and subscribe. Well, I've been Gaz.
I've been Taylor.
We've been the Never a Straight Answer podcast. We'll catch you next time.
Yeah.
Peace.
Outside.